Woe to the unwary explorer who delves deep into the burial crypts of the ancient Nords and disturbs the Draugr that dwell within. Skyrim's history is long and bloody. It was home to draconic tyrants, territorial ivory-skinned elves, conquering men, and brilliantly cruel dwarves. On the surface, remnants of those ancient epochs are buried beneath ice, worn away by ceaseless snowstorms. Underneath the ground, however, sheltered from the slow destruction of the elements, the glorious legacies of those who came before endure the eras. Forgotten treasures await audacious adventurers in crypts, caves and ruins, untouched by mortals for thousands of years. But hold on, if these ancient tombs have laid dormant for millennia, why are torches and candles burning away autonomously behind locked doors and undisturbed cobwebs, in places inhabited only by spiders and the dead? Why are dilapidated antique burial urns filled with mint imperial coins, septims that are still in circulation and would be accepted by any respectable shopkeepers without so much as a spit shine? And come to think of it, it is quite bizarre that at the end of a treacherous dungeon, beside the sarcophagus of a long-dead Nordic dragon priest, I can find freshly forged steel armour pieces and pristine leather boots without a spot of wear. These questions have bewildered explorers for over 7 years, and in this video we're going to get to the bottom of it, answering once and for all, who lights the torches? Hey guys, it's Drew here and welcome back to FudgeMuppet. After spending the last few months toiling over Tamriel's most profound curiosities, from the metaphysical mysteries of Kim to the true meaning behind each of the enigmatic Daedric princes, I decided it was time to unravel the most important mystery of all. So settle in, because it'll all make sense soon. Now, there's a pretty straightforward answer in most of Skyrim's dungeons that rules out the supernatural. For example, many of the illuminated cave systems are inhabited by bandits, vampires, forsworn hagravens, necromancers, and the like. And while the majority of these groups are incompetent foes, writing off a sneaking dragonborn as their imagination, despite the arrows sticking out of their chest, I think it's still fair to assume that these enemies are capable of lighting candles and torches. As for Dwemer ruins, the Falmer have proven through their creation of chorus tools and chitin huts that they can perform basic tasks. But then again, why would the blind Falmer have any cause to light a torch? For the most part, Dwemer ruins are illuminated by gas lamps, which burn incessantly with a blue-green hue. This can easily be explained by the magnificence of Dwemer technology. You see, the Dwemer mastered steam and geothermal power by tapping into natural magma sources deep underground. The power sources were so potent that they could fuel airships, observatories, automatons, and lighting systems with supreme efficiency. It stands to reason, therefore, that so long as the infrastructure was undamaged, the lights could work for centuries without maintenance, surviving despite the disappearance of the dwarves. Nevertheless, that does not explain the occasional lantern or torch scattered around dwarven ruins. It's not unfathomable that less fortunate adventurers entered and died shortly before you, but surely they would burn out without supervision, and it's hard to imagine that many travellers made it past hordes of Falmer and Dwemer automatons and lived long enough to light all the candles. The Elder Scrolls Online has offered a new answer to this question when revealing a new pet in their crown store. In warmer climates, usually in close proximity to lava, there is a small sprite-like flying creature called a brimstone nixad. These small winged pixies appear to have a molten core, held behind a brimstone exterior. The one description we have of this breed of nixad is the following. The legend among the underworld explorers of the Undaunted is that these little incendiary sprites are responsible for lighting all the candles, torches and lanterns found burning underground, flying ahead of adventurers to ignite them in the dark. This makes a lot of sense. In Morrowind, especially the volcanic isle of Vardenfell, these sprites would roam in abundance. But even in Skyrim, the deeper underground you go, the more suitable the conditions become for such a creature. We just said that the Dwemer built their subterranean citadels close to magma sources, and the great gouts of steam constantly erupting from brass pipes would be a breath of fresh air to a brimstone nixad. These beasts could definitely flutter about the Dwemer ruins lighting torches without having to leave a trail of dead Falmer and broken machinery in their wake. Well, that surely settles it then. Official sources just told us that brimstone nixads are responsible for this phenomenon, but somehow it still doesn't add up. If we turn our attention back to the Nordic ruins of Skyrim, Our convenient culprit seems suddenly implausible. First things first, Nordic ruins aren't built near volcanoes, nor any underground magma stores, making them almost as cold as the land above. Secondly, I highly doubt the tiny Nixads are dropping modern currency in burial urns or stashing armour in chests. Thirdly, and most importantly, there is one factor that rules out every potential explanation we've encountered thus far. Unlike most ruins, certain Nordic tombs feature a hall of stories. These rooms are large open corridors, with carved tablets lining the walls. These carvings depict the ancient gods of the Nords, from the pantheon unique to the Northerners. If you come across a hall of stories, you know that what lies beyond is sacred. It could hold a dragon word wall, or the resting place of a renowned dragon priest. Whatever it is not meant for the living. That is where the puzzle doors and the dragon claws come into play. At the end of the Hall of Stories, you'll find a great round door, with rotating mechanisms that display symbols of the various animals considered sacred in the Nordic pantheon. The only way to pass a puzzle door is by obtaining the relevant dragon claw. These 10 claws are all unique, smithed using valuable metals, inlaid with priceless gems, and on the palm of each claw you can find the glyph order required to open the corresponding puzzle door. It's not the most impenetrable security system in the realm, but combined with the dangers lurking in these olden tombs, it is unprecedented for a modern mortal to venture beyond one of these doors. With all of that in mind, how on Nirn are the torches on the other side burning away merrily, freshly fueled and neatly nestled in their sconces? We can rule out Nixads, as even they are not slight enough to slip through the cracks. We can rule out adventurers, as you can't exactly take a dragon claw to a locksmith and ask for additional copies. It's possible others may have used the claw in the past, but the torches would have burned out long before we got our hands on it. There is therefore only one answer left, and no, it's not an error made by Bethesda. The answer to this perplexing question has been right beneath our noses the whole time, as it is well documented. You can even find the answer without entering a crypt at all, as copies of the book can be found on a bookshelf inside the Winking Skeever Tavern. The Draugr are responsible for everything, from the lighting of candles and torches, to the stashing of gold in urns, to the stowing of arms and armour in the boss chests. With all the perils that face explorers in Tamriel, it's no surprise that we don't bat an eye at the walking corpses in Skyrim's dungeons. But the truth is, they are not simply animated undead. They're not mindless tools. No, the Draugr have a noble purpose, and ancient magics linger within them, urging them to protect their resting places from grave robbers and mischief makers. In life, the Draugr were not significant figures. They were usually followers. They pledged themselves to powerful dragon priests for the most part, but also occasionally to influential lords and ladies. When the priest died, the followers would be buried alongside them, regardless of their age or their health. This was a sacred process, and as a result, they lived eternally in the crypt for the sole purpose of transferring their life force to the priest. This process was taxing, and the Draugr would spend most of their time resting. But in shifts, the Draugr would rise from their slumber to worship at the sarcophagus of the priest. And when they were not giving their priest life energy, they would protect the crypt from intruders. Contrary to popular belief, the Draugr were not cursed for following the corrupt dragons and their priests. And once upon a time, it is likely that the Draugr looked just as alive as you or I, only time inevitably took its toll on their physical bodies. Bernadette Bantian of the Winterhold College devoted much of her time to studying the Draugr, and what she discovered is fascinating. The first thing she proves is that the Draugr were not innately dangerous, and once they realised that she posed no threat to their priest, they stopped attacking her altogether. She goes on to say the following: "I had always wondered why the ancient priests of the dragon cult insisted that their followers be buried with them. It seems the height of pagan vanity to drag your conscripts to their death along with you. But as I integrated into their presence, I began to observe the reasons. Every day, a different set of Draugr would awaken, shamble their way to the sarcophagus of their priest, and prostrate themselves before it. Several hours of this, followed by a meticulous cleaning of the area. It would appear that the adherents of the dragon priest continue their worship of him in death, which would also explain the ferocity with which they defend his chambers. The second eternal life was only promised to those who ascended to the priesthood, but the lesser functionaries contributed their life force to sustaining them for eternity. It all makes sense now. Yes, as intruders we only see the Draugr moving in a life-threatening context, but even when nobody is around, the Draugr do wander the crypts. They are servants, and as servants they keep the resting place of their priest clean and tidy. When the priest returns, they will expect a well-lit, spotless crypt, not a tomb left in darkness, with adventurer corpses scattered around the place. The Draugr light the torches and kill the intruders, before cleaning up the mess, neatly stashing the contents of their pockets in urns, and stowing their clothing in chests. Perhaps they put the most valuable of arms and armour in the chest near their priest, as a form of offering. But with this information, we can put to rest the argument over why the dungeons of Skyrim are not left in darkness, and why an abundance of modern gold and gear can be found within them. I also can't help but pity the Draugr now. They're not mindless zombies. In their eyes they are guardians, devoted to a cause far greater than them. They exchanged their freedom for an eternity of servitude, and they receive nothing in return for their loyalty and their sacrifice. And there you have it, guys, the answer to the question, who lights the torches? I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks so much for watching. I've been Drew, and I'll see you in the next one.